In the heart of West Africa was the Kingdom of Doma. Each year, the king hosted the Festival of Unity, a week-long celebration filled with music, dancing, and feasting. The highlight was the King's Feast, where villagers were invited to present their best talents to honor the king. Adama, a beautiful and talented girl from the village of Noka, was known for her beautiful weaving skills. She created intricate kente cloth designs inspired by her faith, each pattern telling a story of God's goodness. This year, she had prepared a masterpiece, a cloth she called the Path of Light. Days before the festival, the king's messengers arrived in Noka with an announcement. All presentations must celebrate the greatness of the king and the gods of the land. Any work that mentions a foreign god or faith will not be allowed. Adama's heart sank. Her Path of Light told the story of how God had guided her family during a drought, providing rain after weeks of prayer. She couldn't imagine changing the design, but her friends urged her to reconsider. Adama, why not weave something neutral? Her friend Dede suggested. It's just a festival, and you don't want to offend the king. Her cousin Kofi added, what's the harm in blending in? It's not like you're abandoning your faith. Adama shook her head. It's not just about the cloth. It's about standing for what I believe. That night, Adama couldn't sleep. She prayed, asking God for wisdom. As she drifted off, she had a vivid dream. In the dream, she stood before a raging fire. A voice said, will you walk through the fire for me? Adama felt fear but replied, yes, I will. When she stepped into the fire, it turned into a path of light, leading her to a beautiful land filled with peace. She woke up with a sense of peace. I must present the path of light, no matter the cost, she decided. The Festival of Unity began with great fanfare. Drummers played, dancers performed, and merchants sold colorful wares. On the day of the king's feast, the villagers gathered in the royal courtyard. One by one, participants presented their talents. When Adama's name was called, the crowd was silenced. She carried her kente cloth to the front, unrolling it with trembling hands. The vibrant patterns depicted a river of blue, representing God's provision, a golden sun, His faithfulness, and a green path leading to a bright future, His guidance. The king's advisors frowned. Adama, does this cloth celebrate the gods of the land? One asked. Adama took a deep breath. Your Majesty, this cloth tells the story of how the Most High God saved my family during the drought. It is a testimony of His power and love. The courtyard fell silent as the king examined the cloth. His face was unreadable, and Adama braced herself for punishment. But to everyone's surprise, the king smiled. This is a remarkable piece, he said. Your faith has given you courage, and your art tells a powerful story. Though it may not honor our gods, it honors the truth of your heart. For that, I commend you. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Some were amazed at the king's response, while others questioned his leniency. Though Adama didn't win the competition, her cloth became the talk of the festival. Many villagers came to her afterward, asking about her faith. One young boy said, your cloth gave me hope. I've been praying for my mother's healing. Do you think God will answer me? Adama knelt down and smiled. He hears every prayer. Keep trusting Him. Adama returned to Noka with a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that daring to be different wasn't just about standing out, it was about pointing others to God. Here are some lessons to learn from Adama's story. Faith over approval. Adama prioritized her faith over pleasing others, even the king. Courage in the face of opposition. She stood firm despite pressure to conform. Influence through obedience. Her decision inspired others to seek God. God's light in the darkness. Like her dream, God turned her courage into a path of light for others. The power of a testimony, sharing personal experiences of faith, can impact others more than we realize. Adama's story is also like the 3 Hebrew boys who refused to bow down to the king's golden statue. A long time ago, there was a king named Nebuchadnezzar who ruled over Babylon. He built a huge golden statue and made a rule. Everyone had to bow down and worship it when they heard the sound of music. If anyone refused, they would be thrown into a fiery furnace. 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, loved and obeyed God. They knew it was wrong to worship anyone or anything other than God. So, when the music played, they refused to bow down to the statue, even though everyone else did. The king was furious. He told them, "If you don't bow down, I'll throw you into the fiery furnace. What God can save you from my power?" The 3 friends bravely answered, "We don't need to defend ourselves to you. If we are thrown into the furnace, the God we serve is able to save us. But even if he doesn't, we will never worship your statue." King Nebuchadnezzar was so angry that he ordered the furnace to be made 7 times hotter. The soldiers tied up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and threw them into the fire. The flames were so hot that the soldiers who threw them in were killed. But something amazing happened. When the king looked into the furnace, he saw not 3, but 4 men walking around in the fire, unharmed. The 4th man looked like a son of the gods. The king shouted, "Come out, servants of the Most High God." When the 3 friends came out, everyone saw that they were completely unharmed. Their clothes weren't burned, and they didn't even smell like smoke. King Nebuchadnezzar was amazed and said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. No other God can save like this." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were brave because they trusted God, even when everyone else did the wrong thing. They dared to be different, even though it wasn't easy, and God honored their faith by protecting them. Adama's story and the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego teaches us that being different for God often requires courage, but it also brings opportunities to shine His light in a world that desperately needs it. Will you dare to be different like them?